Hare Krishna. Om Jagannath Ghanashyam Govinda Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyamadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Sri Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagwan Ki Jai. Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani Ki Jai. Sri Sri Gauranitai Ki Jai. Sri Caitanya Caritamrita Ki Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Samaved Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna. So last week we were discussing on Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu finishing his South Indian tour and arriving in Jagannath Puri. And we saw how Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who is a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we'll discuss about his pastimes later. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, when he discusses with King Prataparudra, who is the king of Orissa, he discusses with him. King Prataparudra first glorifies Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then he asks him if there is any chance for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to give him audience. For which Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya responded that because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is epitome of sannyas ashram, he stays away from dealing with any materialistic people. Nevertheless, seeing the interest of the king, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says he would try his best to facilitate that. Later on, when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya asks for a proper residence for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the king immediately allocated Kashi Mishra's home, which is right next to the temple. So that becomes the residence of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for the next 18 years actually. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu later when he arrives, he tells the devotees that he doesn't want to deal with his traveling servant Kala Krishna Das anymore because he went astray. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to South India, he get distracted by a group of gypsies, and because of that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I don't want to associate with them. When Kala Krishna Das feels totally despondent, having been rejected by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he takes the shelter of the devotees, who then reinstate him back in the service by telling Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, my Lord, since you have arrived after so many years, the devotees in Navadvip Dham, they are feeling so much separation. We need to send someone with the news of your arrival. Are you okay with us to choose anyone? Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, yeah, you discuss among yourself and you give that service to someone. So then they give that service to Kala Krishna Das, and that's how he gets reinstated back in service of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So even if Krishna rejects someone, if one takes the shelter of Krishna's devotees, then they will be protected. One pastime in Mahabharata comes to mind. Once Agni Dev, I don't want to get too distracted. Once Agni Dev, he goes through indigestion. So normally when we do fire sacrifice, we do swaha, offering ghee. So there was a king who did such a big sacrificial offering, so much so that Agni Dev couldn't digest all the ghee that came as part of the offering. So because of that, he approaches in the form of a Brahmana to Krishna and Balaram, or rather Krishna and Arjuna actually. So when he approaches them, he tells them, please, I need your help. Then Krishna and Arjuna said, don't worry, I've come to our shelter and you are a Brahmana, definitely we'll fulfill whatever your request is. And after being given that assurance, Agni Dev then shows his real form and says, oh my Lord Krishna, we know who you are. Because of the indigestion problem, I need to devour this particular forest because it has a lot of herbs that would aid in my digestion. And then he says Brahma had actually revealed him. When he developed indigestion, he went to Lord Brahma, and it was Brahma who ordained that he goes and devours this. But every time he tries to devour that particular forest known as Kandava, Indra pours down rain to protect his friends who are there, his friends especially who are Nagas. Takshaka is one of them. Takshaka is Indra's friend. He is the Naga that later on becomes the cause of Parishit Maharaj's disappearance. When Shringi Brahmana curses, it's the same Takshaka. So Takshaka and along with family it's there, that's why. So Krishna and Arjuna, they assure, you don't need to worry. And then Arjuna asks, for me to actually go around and protect you, I need a proper chariot, I need celestial weapons. And then Agnidev provides him everything, including Gandiva, which he gets from Varunadev. And then Krishna and Arjuna, to cut the long story short, we can discuss some other time, they assist Agni to devour the entire Kandava forest. So when Agnidev is devouring this forest, which is filled with a lot of medicinal herbs, at that time even many Rakshasas or demons who took their residence there as a hiding place, they start to run. And as soon as they come out of that forest, Arjuna, being driven on chariot by Krishna, he shoots each one of them. So it was in one such instance when the whole forest was devoured by Agni. Agni feels satisfied. At that time there was still one Danava who tries to escape from that forest. His name is Maya. So when Maya goes out, Krishna immediately raises his weapon ready to kill him. And right next to him he sees Agnidev chasing after him. Agni is fire. So now Maya doesn't know where to go. He immediately goes to take shelter of Arjuna. Please give me shelter. So then Arjuna tells him, it's my promise that whoever comes to me for shelter, that I will even give my life to protect them. So then he turns towards Krishna and he says, please spare his life because he has taken my shelter. Krishna says, so be it. So you will see many instances actually when Krishna, many instances he glorifies, Eme bhakta janapartha, name bhakta chate janaha, mad bhakta nam chaye bhaktas teme bhakta tamo bataha. He says to Arjuna, oh Arjuna, whoever calls themselves as my devotee or claims themselves as my devotee is not so, but whoever who says as the devotee of my devotee, he is actually my devotee. So worship of Krishna is not possible to approach him directly. Even to understand Krishna, we have to go through Caitanya Mahaprabhu. If you read even activities of Lord Balaram directly, it will confuse us. But if you study through Nityananda Prabhu, then we will understand, okay, this is the mood of Balaram. It's very easy to understand Balaram if we approach Balaram through Nityananda Prabhu. So here, Kala Krishnadas, knowing very well mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even after being rejected by him, he immediately goes and takes shelter of his devotees, and devotees kindly accept him. So then Kala Krishnadas was then sent to Navadvip, and then he shares the news. Upon hearing the news, there was a 3-day festival that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has arrived and we are all going to go to Puri. So all the devotees, they assembled in the residence of Advaita Acharya, and they had this 3-day festival, and then they were about to leave. This is where we completed last week. And as they were making preparations, even inhabitants of Kulina Grama and Kanda. Kulina Grama, we'll discuss a very important instruction which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives to them. We can discuss that later whenever we come to that section, which we will soon. So next section discusses about Paramananda Puri's arrival at Jagannath Puri. Paramananda Puri is Uddhava in Krishna Leela. And we all know Uddhava is the cousin of Krishna. He is the most confidential servant of Krishna in Dwaraka. So much so that Krishna would reveal his heart. Krishna even sends personal message to all the Brajabasis, including the Gopis, through Uddhava. Uddhava takes that, goes to Vrindavan, and that's where he gets to experience firsthand about how much elevated the Gopis of Vrindavan are, the Gopas of Vrindavan are. For that matter, every living entity in Vrindavan, how much they are attached to Krishna. So this is Uddhava. So Paramananda Puri is Uddhava. So when Paramananda Puri, he comes to South India, that's where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu meets him. Traveling along the banks of the Ganges, Paramananda Puri ultimately reached Navadvip and stayed at Sachimata's house. Sachimata provided him everything very respectfully. There he heard the news of Lord Chaitanya's return to Puri, and taking Dvija Kamalakanta, he very soon arrived at Lord Chaitanya's place. So Paramananda Puri is also a traveling mendicant. He is a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. If you read the Adi Leela section, the description of the different associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is given. Who, if the whole parampara of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is considered as a tree, who's the root? Who's the seed? Madhavendra Puri. Root, there are like 9 sannyasis. The main root of those sannyasis is Paramananda Puri. Very exemplary personality. Of course, he is Uddhava. And then it discusses about different branches. Like who's the trunk, who's the different branch, who's the leaves, so on and so forth. So here, Paramananda Puri, after traveling everywhere, he goes to, following the path of Ganges, he then goes to Navadvipa. There he stays at Sachimata's home, which is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's home. And that's where he hears the news when Kala Krishnadas arrives, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had returned to Puri. So at this point, Paramananda Puri also makes plan to return back because he couldn't feel separation from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had also invited him earlier when he met him in South Indian tour. He says, please come to Puri. I want to take your association. And we can discuss Krishna Katha. So when Paramananda Puri, when he hears the news of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's return to Puri, he takes Dvija Kamalakanta and then they both arrive in Jagannath Puri. So immediately he goes and meets Lord Chaitanya. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells him, please stay with me and show me favor accepting the shelter of Jagannath Puri. To which Paramananda Puri responds, I also wish to stay with you. That's why I came from Bengal very hurriedly. Even though all the other residents, they were making plans to come. I know they will take a while to come here. I couldn't feel separation. That's why I came ahead. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he also gave him a solitary room in Kashi Mishra's house. In the same home where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is living, he gave one room to Paramananda Puri along with the servant. So this is about Paramananda Puri, who is Uddhava. After this, another associate. The beauty of Caitanya Caritamrita is it focuses on different aspects of bhakti. When you read Bhagavad Gita, for example, Krishna, to speak about the elevated status of bhakti, he would approach bhakti in different ways. Sometimes he will glorify bhakti directly, saying, how glorious is this path, tasyaham sulabha pata, how easy it is. Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even a little endeavor can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam. This is the king of knowledge. Pavitram idam uttamam. Pratyaksha vagamam. It gives you direct experience. So on and so forth. Krishna directly glorifies. In other instances, you will see Krishna glorifying about his devotees. To say, you see, bhakti is so easy and these are the great devotees who have already accepted this path of bhakti and they have attained success in this path. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will go on to say how dear these devotees are to him. Shipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat shantim nigachati kaunteya pratijanehi name bhakta pranashati. You will come across Krishna glorifying bhakti through devotees. In other instance, Krishna will take a more direct response or direct approach rather by saying about his own glories. There is one instance in Kurukshetra war when Yudhishthir Maharaj fights with Karna and in the process he gets injured. At that point, when he gets injured, his charioteer, normally the first duty of the charioteer is to protect whoever he is riding. So as soon as he sees Yudhishthir Maharaj injured, he immediately makes a U-turn, rushes him to the camp so his injuries can be tended to. When this news reaches Arjuna, Krishna tells Arjuna, I think your brother is injured, we should go back and first to make sure he is well, then we can come and engage on fight with Karna. Arjuna agrees, Krishna turns the chariot, goes to the camp, and as soon as Arjuna comes inside the tent, Yudhishthir Maharaj, until that point while he was on the bed, whose injuries was tended to, he immediately jumps off the bed and he rushes towards Arjuna. Oh my dear brother, I know you would have heard the news that I got injured by Karna, and I know you would have avenged it by killing him. Then Krishna or Arjuna says, oh my dear brother, let me tell you the facts. I just came to know it is sure that I will kill Karna, but I just came out of concern for your well-being. Now that I know you are good, you are healthy, I would now go back, rush towards Karna, and I will kill him. When Yudhishthir Maharaj, as a Kshatriya, when he hears that Karna is still not killed, he uses angry words on Arjuna. What is the use of you carrying Gandiva? I thought you would have killed him already. Throw away Gandiva. When this word came out of Yudhishthir, very uncharacteristic of him. Yudhishthir Maharaj is very mild personality. But in the spur of the moment when he says that, Arjuna immediately pulls the sword out of the hilt, saying, I'm going to now fulfill the vow which I have taken. Because Arjuna had taken vow, whoever tells him to put the Gandiva down, he'll kill them. Kshatriyas, they always take a lot of vows. So in this instance, he takes the sword and then he tells to Krishna, oh my dear Krishna, I am put in a predicament now wherein I have taken a vow. When Krishna sees him with the sword, Krishna tells him, so what are you going to do now? So then Arjuna tells him about the vow, and then Krishna explains to him about nuances of religious principles, and Krishna quotes scriptures and he says, there are vows, but there are higher level principles also. And then after discussing about the nuances, Krishna quotes scriptures and then he tells to Arjuna that for a Kshatriya, dishonor is worse than death. So rather than you physically killing him, you can just go insult him. That is worse than death. Put your sword back. Then Arjuna puts the sword back. Then Arjuna goes inside and then he now insults Yudhishthir Maharaj, saying, because of you we lost, we got insulted in the Kaurava assembly. Because of that we lost all kingdom. Because of you we had to go in exile for 13 years. So he insults him. And then finally saying all of that, he then cries, puts his head on Yudhishthir Maharaj's feet and then he cries, oh my dear brother, please forgive me. This is the only way I could actually see to not harm you physically and at the same time to keep my vow true. So after doing this, Krishna is seated there, Arjuna comes. Now Arjuna pulls out the sword again. Krishna says, why now again? Then Arjuna says, my brother, he's fit to be worshipped as Indra. He's such a great elevated personality. I have insulted him so much, this is a great offense. What is the use of me living even after offending my brother? So I'm going to kill myself. Now Krishna says, wait. And Krishna quotes another scriptural verse. Krishna says that, yes, it is true, if you offend such a great personality, it's a very heinous sin. And you want to actually quit your body, I will tell you something even worse than quitting body. Put your sword down. Then he puts it back. And then Krishna tells to Arjuna, if one speaks glorification of oneself, that is self-destruction. So Krishna says, I'll sit there, keep talking about your glories. Then Arjuna for next 5 minutes talks about his own glories. And then finally Krishna comes and says to both Yudhishthir and Arjuna that you both are great devotees of mine. You both will always be very, very dear, so close to me than even my own life. Today Karna will surely be killed, and Karna gets killed that day by Arjuna. So you will come across. So Krishna takes that approach of speaking about himself. Now Krishna, as much as he says, if one speaks about one's own glory, that's tantamount to killing oneself or destroying oneself. So how is it justified that Krishna is speaking about his own glories in Bhagavad Gita? That is why, to give him that little window to speak about himself, Arjuna asks questions. Vistarenatmana yogam vibhudimscha janartana bhuya kataya truptirhi strinvato nasti me mrutam. He says, oh Krishna, please keep on talking about my glories, about your glories rather. The more I hear about you, more I feel like hearing, more I never feel satiated. Bhuya kataya triptirhi shrinvato nasti me mrutam. He says that I never feel satiated in hearing about you, please talk. Because Arjuna is asking Krishna to talk, Krishna speaks about his own glories. So coming back to the point, to glorify bhakti, Krishna directly glorifies bhakti in some places. Some places he says how great he is, and some places he says how great his devotees are, because through this process of bhakti they bring even a great personality like Krishna under control. Does that make sense? So in three ways Krishna glorifies bhakti, you will see that. So here we can from this pastime understand how much worship of devotees is important, how much getting the blessings of devotees is important. We can never approach Krishna directly. We can never approach Srimati Radharani directly. The only way to approach Shri Radha Gopinath is through Srila Prabhupada. But the only way to approach Srila Prabhupada is through followers of Prabhupada, through other devotees. So bhakti, if somebody practices, means they will naturally be friendly disposed to everyone, anyone and everyone, because devotees are very experts in getting blessings from everyone, every single person. Nobody should think that I'm such an exalted personality, I have progressed in bhakti so much that I don't need anyone's help. We should never think like that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, here he is exemplifying. When Krishna, when he is assisting Yudhishthira Maharaj in Rajasuya sacrifice, Krishna says, I would like to take the blessings of the Brahmanas, and Krishna took the humble position of washing their feet. Every Brahmana, thousands, tens of thousands. Brahmana, more than 100,000 Brahmanas came. Krishna washed everyone's feet, wiped it with the towel, made them seated, did arati for each one of them, and made sure that each one of them were perfectly and comfortably seated. So this is the example which Krishna himself is showing us. This is the example which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself is showing us as well. He is Supreme Lord, but here he is teaching us how we are supposed to be dealing with his devotees. So here Paramananda Puri, his arrangements was made, and now in Caitanya Caritamrita you will see more descriptions about his devotees, much more than you would see in even Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is also case study of each of his different devotees, but you will never come across names of these many devotees even in Srimad Bhagavatam. Page after page after page you will come across. So after describing about Paramananda Puri, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami now talks about Swarup Damodar Goswami. Swarup Damodar Goswami is Lalita Saki in Vrajalila. So if you go to Mayapur, you can see Radha Madhav, and you see 8 Sakis. Lalita, Vishaka, Champakalata, Chitra, Tungavidya, Induleka, Rangadevi, Sudevi. 8. Lalita and Vishaka, they both are the chief of all gopis, servants, and they directly deal with Srimati Radharani. Directly they assist Srimati Radharani. So Lalita Shaki is Swarup Damodar. So now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Radha and Krishna combined. So Swarup Damodar, who is Lalita Saki, is also coming to assist him here. So Swarup Damodar Goswami, he is a very close friend. He was known as Purushottamacharya in Navadvip. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas when he was 24 years old, and then he moves to Puri, at that time Purushottamacharya, he feels separation so much from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He also decided to become a renunciant. He also gives up his home, goes to Varanasi and takes the shelter of one guru and takes a sannyas from him also. So here he goes to Varanasi and he takes to sannyas ashram, under another guru called Chaitanya Bharati, who instructed him, after giving him Diksha, he instructed him, please read Vedanta Sutra and teach Vedanta Sutra. Normally we have one huge body of Vedas, until Vyasadeva came and compiled them, separated them into four, or rather compiled them into four branches. It was just one single body of knowledge. Veda comes from the word root. Vid means to know, knowledge. So, this huge body of knowledge, Vyasa, he thought at the onset of Kali Yuga, he thought Kali Yuga Vasis, with all of our glorious qualities, Manda Sumanda Matayo, Manda Bhagya Hi Upadritaha, will be very unfortunate, very lazy, very intolerant. So, because of all these different qualities of people in Kali Yuga, Vyasadeva took compassion. So, he took this big body of knowledge and then he divided into four branches: Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda and Atharva Veda. These four Vedas he gave to each one of his disciples and told them to propagate through their own disciples. So, Rig Veda he gave it to one of his disciples, Paila Rishi. Yajur Veda to Vaishampayana. Sama to Jaimini Rishi. Atharva, Sumantu Muni Angira. And the Itihasas, he then handed it over to Romaharshana Sutta, or Romaharshana rather. So Romaharshana Sutta is Sutta Goswami. So Romaharshana Rishi. So each of these five rishis, they in turn propagated this knowledge. After dividing the Vedas like this, he thought, if I think Kali Yuga Vasis will be able to still even read one branch of this Vedas, they may or may not. Thinking this way, he thought, I will write the conclusion of all these four Vedas, the essence of all the four Vedas. Then he wrote Vedanta Sutra. Sutra means it's like a formula. Atato Brahma Jignasa, Raso Vaisa, Tattvamasi. Like that you will come across. Each one of them are like sutras, like formulas, and you can elaborate. But how did this formula come? They came from the essence of those Vedic knowledge only. So he wrote this Vedanta Sutra. Even after writing Vedanta Sutra, he thought, still I am not satisfied. Because what is the guarantee that Kali Yuga people will read this? So this Vedanta Sutra, he then wrote a commentary on it to make it more accessible for general population. And that commentary of Vedanta Sutra is what we read as Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is the natural commentary. If you read Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada says, Srimad Bhagavatam is the natural commentary of Vedanta Sutra. That's what it means. After compiling Vedas, after writing Vedanta Sutra, to write that Nigama Kalpataror Galitam Phalam Shukamukad Amrita Drava Samyutam. So this Srimad Bhagavatam is the ripened fruit of Vedic knowledge. That's why it's given. Because it's the essence of the essence. So this is how Srimad Bhagavatam is written. So what we study in Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence of all Vedic scriptures. What we study in Caitanya Caritamrita is the biography or the life history of those devotees who lived by the instructions of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the exemplification. Somebody who's walking the talk of the instructions of Srimad Bhagavatam. That's the Caitanya Caritamrita. This is the case history of all those who took the instructions of Srimad Bhagavatam to their heart and they lived by those instructions, following them to the dot. This is Caitanya Caritamrita. So Caitanya Caritamrita, you will come across history of all those devotees. Even between Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam and Caitanya Caritamrita. Bhagavad Gita, where it finishes, Bhagavatam starts from that point. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna concludes, Sarvadharman Paritejya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Aham Tvam Sarva Papepyo Mokshayishyami Ma Suchaha. Abandon all varieties of religion, surrender unto me. This is how Bhagavad Gita finishes. But then where Bhagavad Gita finishes, Bhagavata Puran starts. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. If you accept Lord Krishna as the Supreme Lord, then the boom gate opens. Now enter. If you don't accept Krishna as Supreme Lord, Bhagavata Puran is not for you. So where Bhagavad Gita finishes, where Krishna says surrender to me, Bhagavata Puran starts from there. But then you go to the last verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, there it is mentioned, Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranama Dukkha Samanas Tam Namami Harimparam. I worship that Supreme Lord Vishnu, whose holy name will wipe out one's sinful reactions and bring all good fortune. To that Supreme Lord, Tam Namami, I offer my obeisances. This is how Bhagavata Puran finishes. And Caitanya Caritamrita starts where Bhagavata Puran finishes. Caitanya Caritamrita is the life history of all those devotees who took chanting the holy name of the Lord as their life and soul. Prabhupada says, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates, when they took Mahaprasad, between every bite they'll go to ecstasy. What is this? Rasagulla. Mahaprasad ki jai. And then they'll go to ecstasy. After half an hour, they'll come back and go for the next bite. Once there was one person who wanted to join the temple. He meets the devotees. This happened in 70s. He meets the devotees in Harinam. And then they come to Srila Prabhupada, saying like, Prabhupada, there's one person who followed us. He wants to join the temple. He doesn't want to do anything. Can we allow such people? He doesn't want to do any seva. So then Prabhupada says, Prabhupada is so merciful. He says, all right, provided whenever he eats, he should chant Hare Krishna between every bite. Prabhupada was so merciful. If somebody wants to just chant, they don't want to do any seva, Prabhupada said, okay, but he should be chanting even between every bite. Then he can be allowed. So, rid of the thoughts. We won't allow that. I can read people's mind. So, point is, I'm like, yeah, I can see that. So, point is that Srila Prabhupada is so merciful. Caitanya Caritamrita speaks about it. It speaks about the personalities whose life and soul is simply to chant the holy name of the Lord, is to simply propagate the holy name of the Lord, is to simply relieve the burden which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself says he is carrying in his heart, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I'm the only gardener. I'm the only mali. How can I distribute all these fruits? I need more hands. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's position is very unique. He is the tree, trunk of the tree also, and he is also the gardener, distributing the fruits. He is Supreme Lord himself, and he is the Supreme Lord's supreme devotee also. So here, Swarup Damodar, he comes and he tells to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he first goes to Varanasi, takes sannyas from Chaitanyananda Bharati. So Chaitanyananda Bharati then tells him, you study Vedanta Sutra and then you preach Vedanta Sutra. Do we study Vedanta Sutra? We do. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Sri Caitanya Caritamrita ki jai. This is Vedanta Sutra. So, he is a great renunciant. Parama Virakta. Virakti means dejection, detachment. Shri Vaikunta Viraktaya. Swami Pushkarini Tate Ramaya Ramamanaya Venkateshaya Mangalam. If you go to South India, there is Venkatesha Shuprabhatam, which they sing, especially in Tirupati. It's like the song that is sung to wake up the Lord. That's the Mangalarati. Very beautiful, meaningful lines. Vishwamitra Vishwamitra Muni, he wrote that. So, Kaushalya, Shupraja, Rama, Purva, Sandhya, Pravartate, Prasanna Prabhu knows. So, it goes like that. So, then part of that song they also sing Venkateshaya Mangalam. It's like singing something for auspiciousness. Swasti Vachana. So, there it says, Sri Vaikunta Viraktaya Swami Pushkarini Tate. Supreme Lord is there in Vaikunta, but he is feeling bored there. Because he could exercise all of his Shakti everywhere. But as Karuna Shakti, he is not feeling, there is not enough candidates here. Karuna Shakti means the potency that gives out mercy. That mercy he couldn't exercise much because everyone was pure devotee there. So Vaikuntha Viraktaya, he developed a detachment even from Vaikuntha. And he came straight from there to Tirupati. So Lord is coming as avatar from spiritual world to material world. Why? To give mercy to everyone. Ramaya Ramamanaya Venkateshaya Mangalam. To that Supreme Lord who came down with his eternal consort Lakshmiji. Rama is Lakshmiji. To why? Developing detachment from even Vaikuntha to give mercy to everyone. He says, let us sing his glories. That's how the song goes. So, he is Parama Virakta. He is Supreme Renunciant. Who? Swarup Damodar Goswami. And a learned scholar. Parama Pandita. Pandita Samadarshina. He took shelter of Krishna with heart and soul. Kaya Mane Ashriyache Sri Krishna Charita. It's one thing to just say as lip service, but to totally take something to the heart and do it, that is something else. Prabhupada says, whatever that we do in Krishna consciousness, we need to do it with substance. Not lip service, not as a ritual. Anything we do, we need to do it with a certain level of depth. We should mean it. It's the same holy name which we see in Caitanya Caritamrita also. It's given where the associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they are reciting it and they are going to ecstasy. When Nityananda Prabhu, he travels. Nityananda Prabhu, he is in Ekachakra. One day one sannyasi comes to their home. So then Hadai Pandit and Padmavati, they are his parents. So Hadai Pandit serves them nicely, gives some shelter, offers some nice prasad, massages his feet, and the sannyasi mendicant becomes very happy. And he's about to go. He tells to Hadai Pandit, I would like to take your son as my servant. Now in Vedic times, when sannyasis go, they just walk on their own. They have no desires. So when they say they need something, their instruction is taken very, very seriously. So in that instance, when Hadai Pandit, who is a Brahmana, when he hears this, he gets almost a heart attack. Then he asks his wife, which is Nityananda Prabhu's mother, what should we do? She is a very dutiful Brahmani. She says, whatever your desire is my order, my Lord. Then Hadai Pandit, he knows scriptural injunctions. Then he hands over. Nityananda Prabhu, he was still a small boy. He becomes a traveling mendicant along with the sannyasi. They go everywhere. If you want to understand mood of Lakshman, mood of Balaram, you should read that particular journey which Nityananda Prabhu takes to different places. Just like how Balaram, he went to different places of pilgrimage during Kurukshetra war because he didn't want to take side. You know what happened there? When the preparation was going on, the war is still not certain yet. At that time, Duryodhana approaches. He thinks, let me go to the pole position, let me go make alliances with different kings. And then he thinks, let me go and seek the help of Krishna. He goes. Arjun also tells Yudhishthir Maharaj, let me go seek help of Keshava. So, he will be our shelter. So they both go. As Arjuna's chariot arrive in the palace of Dwaraka, Arjuna is going from Virata all the way to Dwaraka, and Duryodhana is going from Hastinapur to Dwaraka. When Arjuna's chariot arrives, he sees Yudhishthir Maharaj he sees Duryodhana going inside. So who arrived first? Duryodhana. So then Arjuna gets off, Arjuna also walks in. When Duryodhana goes in, Krishna is still sleeping. Duryodhana goes, takes a seat right next to Krishna. Krishna's head where there was a seat. Arjuna comes, takes seat at Krishna's lotus feet. Sitting there, he is happily observing Krishna beautifully sleeping. So when this is the scene, so when Krishna wakes up, he sees Arjuna first, and then he turns, he sees Duryodhana. So then Duryodhan says to Krishna that, oh my dear Krishna, I arrived first. Krishna says, but I saw Arjuna first. Usually whoever is the feet, they are the one who you would always see. He says, but I saw Arjuna first. And then Krishna says, anyway, you both have come, and I can't say no to anyone who has come to me asking for anything. Here is the deal. One of you can take my Sena, my army, known as Narayanas. Narayani Sena, one of you can take. The other person can take me, but I won't touch any weapon. While Duryodhana is calculating, Krishna, it's good to have him, but if he's not going to touch the weapon, what's the use? I'd rather take his army. And then Krishna already turns to Arjuna. And he tells to Duryodhana, Arjuna is younger to you anyway. And I've also seen him first, let him ask. Arjuna, without hesitation, he asks, Krishna, I want you. Then Duryodhana, he is thinking very smart in his mind. But without showing his joy externally, he says, well, it looks like all I'm left with is just the Narayani Sena. I would take it anyway. The younger brother got what he wanted. And then he walks out. Then Krishna turns towards Arjuna asking him, hey, I think he made a stupid choice. Arjuna says, no, I made an intelligent choice. Krishna teases him, you have chosen me and I'm not even going to touch the weapon. Arjuna says, that doesn't matter. Victory will always be with one who has chosen Krishna as their shelter. So here, Nityananda Prabhu, he goes, if you want to understand the mood of Balaram, you can actually see how each one of those personalities, they act. So when Nityananda Prabhu, he goes to Vrindavan, he would be in the mood of Balaram. When he goes to Ayodhya, he would be in the mood of Lakshman. Like that, he goes to different places and finally he meets Madhavendra Puri. When Madhavendra Puri sees him, Madhavendra Puri goes into ecstasy. It is said that because associates of Madhavendra Puri, including Madhavendra Puri, they were so disappointed, fed up with materialistic mentality of people. They thought there's no point in walking in town and city, let us just go to the forest. They were just going from forest to forest. So it was in one such forest they met Nityananda Prabhu. And when Madhavendra Puri sees Nityananda Prabhu, he immediately recognizes. In some instances you will see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recognizes, are you from line of Madhavendra Puri? Because if somebody can show this level of ecstasy, that's possible only in Madhavendra Puri's line. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would recognize. Like that, when Madhavendra Puri sees Nityananda Prabhu, he also recognizes. This is a pure devotee of the Lord. Of course, he is Supreme Lord. Balaram himself. So you will see this took shelter of Krishna with heart and soul. It's one thing to superficially say, I'm a devotee of Krishna, which is also good. But what is even better, best is to live by that statement. Best is to take that statement and to mean it. When it's the same holy name we chant, and it's the same holy name which associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also chant. When they say Krish, they get choked up and they go into ecstasy for half an hour. When we say Krish, we drop the beat and we dose. That's the realized knowledge, all of us. So, what is it that they taste and what is it that we are missing? That should be the question we should be asking ourselves. It is exactly the same mantra. It's exactly the same personality. In fact, we are in a more conducive environment. We are seated inside the temple room. And they have to wander from forest to forest. Chaturmas, they can't travel anywhere for 4 months. They don't know where the food is going to come from, shelter is going to come from. It's so cold. Sydney is becoming like Canberra. Seriously. It's like what? June? August is supposed to be the peak. If this is not the peak, then what is August going to be? We don't know. Like what? -5 or something. It's just getting worse. So they had to go through so much difficulty. But when they chanted Krishna, they mean it and they actually have ecstasy in their heart. When we chant Hare Krishna, associates of the Lord, pure devotees, when they say Hare Krishna, means Prabhupada says, "Oh my Lord, oh energy of the Lord, please engage me in your service." When we chant, if somebody comes and asks for seva, "Prabhuji, let me finish my rounds." You see, there is no integrity in our chanting, unfortunately. Now we can say practical, situations, my time is limited, so many things we can say. But even when we are free, okay, today we are free, do we mean when we chant? That's the question we need to ask. We can't cheat ourselves. Sometimes we can say, "Krishna, is this what I asked you?" Well, Krishna can also ask us, "Is this how you're supposed to chant my name?" How many of you have heard that audio of Srila Prabhupada? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Sit properly and then you sit down. Have you heard that audio of Prabhupada? Prabhupada, when he says that, it's like, it really penetrating, goes to the heart. Yes, I'm supposed to sit properly, and you chant. You do. Power of pure devotees' words. When they say one word, so when pure devotees, when they chant Hare Krishna, they mean it. When they say, "My Lord, please engage me in your service," we mean it. When we chant Hare Krishna, we completely separate. "Prabhu, let me finish my rounds and then I'll come for service. And that too only if I like." And what's the unlikely scenario there? So that's the area we need to work on. Whereas, unlike us, you see Swarup Damodar, he took shelter of Krishna with heart and soul. Kaye mane Astriyache Sri Krishna Charita. Next quality of Swarup Damodar, enthusiastic to worship Krishna undisturbed. Nischinte Krishna Bhajayaba. Accepted sannyas in madness and gave up his tuft of hair, shika and sacred thread, but did not accept saffron dress and sannyasi title. They are formalities. But remained as a Naishtik Brahmachari, retaining his Brahmachari name, Swarupa. Taking permission from his sannyas guru. So he, in his dejection, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes to Puri, he gets a dejection from Navadvip, gives up Navadvip, goes to Varanasi. And he takes sannyas from Chaitanya Ananda Bharati, taking the Brahmachari name Swarupa, and later on sannyas also. But then the Guru instructs him, taking permission from him, he now goes to Puri to associate with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he will be with him forever. Taking permission from sannyas Guru, he went to Nilachala to accept Lord Chaitanya's shelter and enjoyed transcendental mellows in his loving service. He was the limit of all scholarship, Pandityera Avadi, but he did not exchange words with anyone. He simply remained in solitary place, fully cognizant of the transcendental mellows and relationship with Krishna. Krishna Rasa Tattvaveta. He was personification of ecstatic love, Deha Prema Rupa. He represented Lord Chaitanya as his second expansion. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam. We offer this prayer. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale. Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam means we worship Srila Rupa Goswami, saying Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam means, "Oh my dear great Goswami, he or you know the heart of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu." That's what it means. Who says that? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself says. Later on we'll see in one pastime. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu once during Ratha Yatra, he sings a song which is encrypted. Nobody understands the meaning. And everyone was wondering, what is this? Only 2-3 associates like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Swarup Damodar Goswami, they could understand the inner meaning. Next day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to see Rupa Goswami in his bhajan kutir. At that time, Rupa Goswami had gone to take bath from the ocean. And just as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was entering his bhajan kutir, just on that thatched roof, he saw one palm leaf. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu pulls it out. And there he sees Rupa Goswami writing another verse in Sanskrit as a commentary to the verse which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recited the previous day during Ratha Yatra. First point Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comments upon seeing this is, he has good handwriting. That is the first comment he makes. Even your handwriting is very liberating. Just look at it. When we look at our handwriting, that's also liberating. Encrypted. Even we can't understand. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, look at his handwriting. Even before going to contents, it's like a row of pearls. You can see that. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu looks at it and he reads and he says, asks Swarup Damodar, how did he understand? Then Swarup Damodar says, unless you reveal yourself from within his heart, how can anybody understand my Lord? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then agrees, yes, when I saw these two brothers in Ramkeli, which is Rupa and Sanatana, I noted how sincere they are. And yes, I empowered from within their heart for them to understand about my mood. So here, that's what's given, that he represented Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as his second expansion. Sakshad Mahaprabhura Dvitiya Swarupa. His mood. Savai Manakrishna Padaravindayor, Vachamsi Vaikunta Gunan Varnane, Karau Harer Mandira Marjana Disho, Shrutim Chakara Chuta Satkatodaye, Mukunda Lingalaya Darshane Drisho, Tadbritya Gatra Sparshenga Sangamam, Granam Chatatpada Saroja Saurabe, Srimad Tulasyam Rasanam Tadarpite, Padav Harishetra Padanu Sharpane, Shiro Rishikesha Padabhivandane, Kamam Chadasya Natukama Kamyaya, Yatottama Shloka Janashraya Ratihi, Kamam Chadasya Natukama Kamyaya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's heart, whatever he desired, his close associates, they understood it straight away. In this verse, Tani Sarvani Samyamya Yukta Asita Matpara Vashehi Asyendriyani Tasya Prajna Pratistita. Prabhupada, when he elaborates on this word Matpara, in my relation, Tani Sarvani Samyamya Yukta Asita Matpara, in relation to me, Prabhupada in that commentary, he quotes this verse about how Ambarish Maharaj, he engaged each one of his senses in serving the Lord. But finally, those series of verses, they say, Kamam Chadasya Natukama Kamyaya. He had only one desire. What is that desire? To understand the desire of Krishna and fulfill it. That's the only desire he had. Your wish is my command. Literally. So this is the mood, and this is the mood that is shown by Rupa Goswami. Same mood is described here as being shown by Swarup Damodara. Sakshad Mahaprabhura Dvitiya Swarupa. He is the second person, but he is almost like alter ego. There is a word, alter ego of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Whatever he thinks, he will execute straight away. You will come across some descriptions like that. Naranarayana Rishi, it's given. There are two Rishis, Nara and Narayana. Like before we study Srimad Bhagavatam, Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Narayanam Naram Chaiva Nara Narayana. This is Naranarayana Rishi. So we live in Bharatavarsha. We live in Bharatakanda. In Bharatavarsha, the predominating deities are Nara Narayana Rishi. They are eternal sages, twins of one is Narayana, Supreme Lord himself, and the other is Nara. They came as Krishna and Arjuna. If you read Mahabharata, you will see. So they are the predominating deities. Now, because we are in Bharatakanda, Bharatakanda means this whole world is Bharatakanda, not India. Okay, Bharatakanda is the whole world. So, and they are predominating deities not just for Bharatakanda. There are 8 more kandas like this in Bharatavarsha. They are the predominating deities for whole Bharatavarsha. And who's the chief devotee who is leading their worship? Narada Muni. So we all have a very close, special relationship with Naranarayana Rishi. We have a very unique relationship with Narada Muni also, compared to anyone else in Bhumandala. So everyone who is in Bharatavarsha. So our predominating worshipable deities are Naranarayana Rishi. It's there in 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So you will see. So they are two, but they almost act like one. They are two visually, but actually they are like one. It's given like that. So here also it's given, represented Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as his second expansion. Sakshad Mahaprabhura Dvitiya Swarupa. He is another person, but he is exactly like personification of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only. So that's how it's given. We'll stop here and we'll continue going through the rest of glories of Swarup Damodar. And then Swarup Damodar, when he sees Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he pays obeisances and then he glorifies Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. 10 aspects of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. If one receives the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what will that mercy do to one? 10 symptoms. Like that. If somebody gets mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there are 10 symptoms with which you can recognize. Same case. Okay, like that. There are 10 which he says. If one receives the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there are 10 symptoms with which you can identify. There are 10 aspects of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. Very interesting section. When you read Caitanya Caritamrita, even with a little attention, we can appreciate the statement of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who said that of all the literatures, this is most important. And even of all the different biographies of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Caitanya Caritamrita is most important. Because it gives you Leela, it gives you pastimes also. Both are needed. If we study only philosophy, then it becomes dry. If you read only Leela, but without understanding the philosophy behind it, we tend to become sentimental. Correct? Many people know about Krishna Leela, but they don't know the philosophy behind it. That's why they can't take up bhakti. But still it's good knowing Leela. But to understand that Leela, to put that Leela into practice. Important. Because they don't know the philosophy, in many instances, demons, even after knowing philosophy also, they act in their own demoniac way, unfortunately. But many instances you will come across, I will wage the war against Krishna and I will kill him. And to get the blessings, I will worship the Brahmanas. Namo Brahmane Devaya Go Brahmane Hitacha. But who do Brahmanas worship? You understand, lack of philosophy. That's the problem. If only they could understand that little part, they would have become devotees straight away. Jarasandha, this is what he did. Very proudly they say, I will give in charity to any Brahmana, whatever that they ask. Why? So that I can gain enough power and I can wage war against Vishnu. But even for your Brahmanas to survive, Vishnu has to protect them. That's the problem. With not studying philosophy. Both are needed. Philosophy is needed, Leela is also needed. That's the beauty of Srila Prabhupada's books. Everything is there. I'll finish with this point. Once Srila Prabhupada, this is towards his Antya Leela. He was lying down there in Vrindavan and Prabhupada is saying that they are thinking that I have written this storybook about Krishna. And then Prabhupada is laughing. They don't know that I have put all Krishna conscious philosophy in Krishna book. So any book of Srila Prabhupada you take, Prabhupada doesn't wait. First verse, Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveda yutsavaha mamaka pandavaschaiva kimma kurvata sanjaya. Is there any mention of Krishna there? But even if somebody reads that purport of Prabhupada, they will become Krishna conscious. Agree? Prabhupada doesn't wait until Krishna makes opening later only. Prabhupada, no. That's why you should chant Hare Krishna. But where is them? It's so easy to get distracted. Prabhupada puts it straight away. And the verse says, Dhritarashtra Vacha. Even if Dhritarashtra reads that, he'll be like, did I say that? That's the beauty of Srila Prabhupada's books. Any book, any purport we take, there'll be both. There'll be Leela, there will be deep philosophical truth, there'll be practical instructions of Srila Prabhupada. There'll be push to actually take this knowledge and give it to everyone. Everything will be there in every purport. We'll stop there. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagavan ki jai. Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki jai. Sri Shri Gauranitai ki jai. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Caitanya Caritamrita ki jai. Samaveda Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.